The problem here is it's not just bypassing Congress, which is a matter that is debated in every country about whether the executive or the legislative branch should have authority over things that feel like war. But more importantly, one could argue that it is our allies in the Middle East, the United States allies in the Middle East, that have inflamed some of the problems that we're dealing with right now.
Oh, very much so. And it's the arms sales that you mentioned there to the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Those sales have been on hold. Some of those sales have been on hold for more than a year from congressional Republicans and Democrats. This is a bipartisan opposition to selling these weapons to Saudis and the Emiratis because of what they've been doing in Yemen, because of the thousands of civilians who've been killed in Yemen, 85,000 children starved to death over the past few years, the world's worst humanitarian catastrophe. Congress voted to end American military involvement using the War Powers Act. Trump vetoed it in order to carry on the killing. Now he says it's an emergency. That's the legal excuse he's using. What emergency? What, we haven't killed enough kids in Yemen? It's an absurd invocation of the Arms Export Control Act to try and go around Congress. This is about trying to keep the Saudis happy after the whole Khashoggi killing, when there was always going to be pushback. They've waited, and now they're using Iran as their excuse to do this. What Iran threat? What the escalation is all from the American side. You have 1,500 troops.
There was actually a deal. The president said the other day what he'd really like to do is be able to talk to Iran. Yes. We had a structure that achieved just that.
A multi-year, multi-country deal that Iran was in compliance with, not just according to the IAEA, the UN watchdog, but also according to the Pentagon, according to former Secretary Jim Mattis, according to Israeli military intelligence. Iran was complying with that deal. Trump tore it up, pulled out, escalated tensions, escalated sanctions, and a Trump administration official told the New York Times earlier this month the whole point of this escalation is to draw Iran into a conflict with the U.S. Chuck Hagel, the former defense secretary under Obama, former Republican senator, said the other day that he believes that this administration is trying to bait Iran into war. We've seen this script before, Ali. 2003, George W. Bush.
What is the danger that Iran gets baited into war? Not just Iran as Iran, which has domestic political considerations that often cause people to get into these things, but Iran by virtue of these proxies in these other countries. I'm always trying to get a handle on, does Iran completely control them, or might some of them take advantage of this mayhem and fire off a missile or take down a plane because all of this is going on?
Well, the irony is the Obama administration said at the time that they didn't believe Iran was controlling the Houthi rebels, but it is undeniable that the Houthi rebels have got closer to Iran as a result of the Saudi-US war in Yemen. It's become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And there were these attacks on tankers in the Gulf, Ali, recently, which the US is claiming, which Pompeo is claiming the Iranians carried out. We haven't seen any evidence for that. European allies are skeptical of that. But what's interesting is, there was a great headline in The Onion, Ali. You have to turn to The Onion these days for reality. The Onion had a headline which said John Bolton saying an attack on any Gulf tanker is an attack on all Americans. Let's say the Houthis did attack the tankers. That's not a reason for the United States and Iran to go to war. A war between America and Iran would make the war in Iraq look like a walk in the park.
Yes, it is a very, very big deal. And for those beating the drums of war, I would hope they would remember that this would be a serious matter that would be good for no one.